Stop what you are doing, right now. Do not scroll past this, and do not look at your notifications. For the past 3 days, the Creator has been trying to get your attention. But you have been too busy. You've been skipping the messages. You've been ignoring the whispers. You've been dismissing the coincidences that were actually divine interventions. But today, the whispering stops and the thunder begins. There is a holy frustration in the atmosphere right now. Not because the Creator hates you, but because He loves you too much to let you walk off a cliff while you're checking your phone. When we talk about God being angry, we aren't talking about a human temperamental rage. We are talking about a holy indignation. It is the anger of a father who sees his child being lured into a trap and screams because the child won't listen to the warnings. You are that child, and the trap is closer than you think. Think about the last 72 hours of your life. Did you feel a sudden, unexplained urge to pray, but you told yourself you'd do it later? Did you see a specific number, a specific verse, or hear a specific name 3 times in one day? Did you feel a heavy weight in your spirit that made you want to cry? But you pushed it down with coffee or social media. Those weren't just feelings. Those were the missed calls from the throne room. In the United States, we have a system called the Emergency Alert System. When the alarm goes off on your phone, you don't care about your text messages anymore. You look for the source of the danger. This video is your emergency alert. Let me tell you about a man named Ethan from Philadelphia. Ethan was a chosen one who had become spiritually deaf because of the noise of his success. He was closing deals, he was making money, and he was living the high life. But for a week, he kept feeling a pull to stay home. He kept seeing messages that said, "Rest, wait, listen." But Ethan kept skipping the messages. He thought he was too important to slow down. On the 4th day, as he was driving to a meeting he wasn't supposed to attend, his car engine didn't just fail, it exploded. He survived. But as he sat on the side of the road, he realized that if the car hadn't stopped, he would have driven right into a multi-car pileup that happened just a mile ahead. The Creator had to brake his car to save his life. He was angry not at Ethan, but at the stubbornness that was leading Ethan to his own destruction. Are you waiting for your engine to explode before you listen? The someone who has been trying to reach you is the one who knows what is waiting for you at the next intersection of your life. He sees the double agent in your circle that you think is a friend. He sees the debt trap you are about to sign your name to. He sees the health crisis that is brewing because you refuse to rest. The anger you feel in this message is the fire of protection. The Creator is saying, I have invested too much in you to watch you throw it away on things that don't matter. You are a chosen one, but you have been acting like a commoner. You have been trading your eternal authority for temporary comfort, and the time for that trade is over. This message is important because it is a final warning. There is a shift happening in the spiritual realm right now, and if you are not aligned, you will be left behind in the chaos. The message you've been skipping contains the battle plan for your next season. It contains the identity codes that will unlock the doors that have been slammed in your face for years. But you can't read the plan if you keep skipping the page. I know life is loud. I know the bills are pressing. I know the world is demanding your attention every second of the day. But the someone who called you is the one who provides the money for the bills and the strength for the day. Why would you listen to the world and ignore the architect of the world? It is a logic of insanity. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal the 3 specific messages you have been skipping. I am going to show you why the Creator is interrupting your schedule today. And I am going to give you the access code to get back into alignment. Do not open another tab. Do not check your watch. The King is on the line, and he is waiting for you to say, I'm listening. The battle for your attention is the battle for your destiny. Are you ready to hear what you've been missing? Part 2. The 3 messages you ignored, and the logic of divine pursuit. 1 200 words. Why is the Creator pursuing you with such intensity right now? In the realm of high-level security, there is a protocol called persistent notification. If a threat is imminent, the system does not just send one email, it sends a text. It triggers an alarm. It flashes lights. It does not stop until the user acknowledges the warning. The Creator has been using persistent notification in your life for days. And the reason his tone has shifted from a whisper to a roar is because the window of opportunity is closing. You have been skipping 3 specific messages, and we are going to break them down right now, because your refusal to hear them is creating a spiritual vacuum that the enemy is trying to fill. The first message you skipped, the separation protocol. For the last few days, you have felt an unexplained irritation toward certain people in your life. You thought you were just being cranky. You thought you were just tired. But that irritation was actually a divine frequency, trying to push you away from a connection that has become toxic to your destiny. The Creator was trying to tell you, that person is no longer authorized to be in your inner circle. But instead of listening, you made excuses for them. You reached out to them when you should have stayed silent. You ignored the red flags because you were afraid of being alone. God is angry because he is trying to protect your heart from a betrayal that is already being planned in the dark. He is saying, I am trying to move you to a private room, but you keep opening the door for the spies. The second message you skipped, the identity correction. You have been looking at your reflection and seeing a failure. You have been looking at your bank account and seeing a victim. You have been looking at your past and seeing a prisoner. The Creator has been sending you signals through songs, through strangers, through the quiet thoughts in your head telling you that you are a chosen one with kingdom authority. He has been trying to remind you of who you were before the world told you who to be. But you skipped that message because humility felt safer than authority. You called yourself nothing when he called you everything. That is not humility. It is an insult to the architect who built you. He is shouting now because the small version of you cannot survive the giants that are coming. You cannot fight a Goliath while you are still trying to fit into the skin of a grasshopper. The third message you skipped, the urgency of the assignment. There is something you were supposed to start 3 days ago. A conversation you were supposed to have. A project you were supposed to launch. A habit you were supposed to quit. You felt the nudge. It hit you in the shower. It hit you while you were driving. But you said, I'll do it when things settle down. The Creator is trying to reach you because settling down is not in the forecast. He is trying to get you to move while the wind is in your favor. In the American military, there is a term called tempo. If you lose your tempo, you lose the initiative. If you lose the initiative, you lose the war. You are losing your tempo because you are treating a command like a suggestion. Let's look at a woman named Clara from Nashville. Clara was a chosen one who felt the nudge to pull her savings out of a specific investment and put it into a small family business she had ignored for years. She skipped the message for 4 days because the experts on the news said her investment was safe. She thought God was just being unrealistic. On the 5th day, the market crashed, and that specific investment went to zero. But the small family business, it was the only thing that thrived in the recession. Clara sat at her kitchen table and realized that the irritation she felt in her spirit for 4 days was the Creator trying to save her from a financial execution. He wasn't trying to control her. He was trying to counsel her. But she kept skipping the calls because she trusted the noise more than the voice. Someone is fighting over you right now because they know that if you remain out of sync with these 3 messages, you will be easy prey. The enemy loves a chosen one who is busy. He loves a chosen one who is distracted. He loves a chosen one who thinks they have plenty of time. But time is a luxury you do not have. The God is angry tone of this message is the sound of a mother bear protecting her cub. It is the sound of a king defending his borders. It is the sound of a creator who is tired of seeing his masterpieces treated like drafts. Why do you keep skipping the messages? Are you afraid of what he will ask you to do? Are you afraid that the real you is too much for people to handle? Or are you just so addicted to the scroll that you've lost the ability to hear the soul? This is the important part. The Creator is not trying to take away your fun. He is trying to give you your freedom. But freedom requires alignment. Alignment requires listening. And listening requires you to open the message now. In the next part, I am going to show you the consequence of the skip. I'm going to reveal what happens in the spiritual realm when a chosen one repeatedly ignores the divine interruption. And I'm going to show you the master plan for a 180-degree turn. The thundering is getting closer. The vibration in your spirit is getting stronger. Do not look away, because the next 600 seconds could be the most important 600 seconds of your decade. The king is still on the line. Will you finally pick up part 3? The consequence of the skip and the spiritual vacuum, 1-200 words. What happens when you keep pressing ignore on a divine command? In the world of aviation, there is a phenomenon known as controlled flight into terrain. This occurs when a perfectly functioning aircraft, piloted by a qualified crew, is flown directly into the ground because the pilots ignored the terrain warnings. The cockpit alarms were screaming, "Pull up! Pull up!" But the pilots thought they knew better. They thought the sensors were wrong. They thought they had more time. That is exactly what is happening in your life right now. Your spiritual sensors are screaming, "Pull up!" But you are treating the alarm like background noise. You need to understand the logic of the vacuum. In the spiritual realm, there is no such thing as empty space. When the Creator speaks a word to you, He creates a sphere of protection around that word. As long as you are moving toward that word, you are under His umbrella. But when you skip the message, when you knowingly walk away from the instruction, you step out from under that umbrella, you create a spiritual vacuum. And a vacuum always sucks something in. If you aren't filled with the divine direction, you will be filled with the enemy's deception. The God is angry tone isn't about ego. It's about the fact that you are currently standing in a danger zone with no armor on. Let's look at a man named Thomas from Houston, Texas. Thomas was a chosen one who felt a sharp warning to cancel a business trip to a conference in Las Vegas. The message came to him 4 days in a row. He saw it in a dream. He heard it from a stranger at a coffee shop. He even felt a physical sickness every time he looked at his plane ticket. But Thomas skipped the messages. He didn't want to lose the networking opportunity. He didn't want to look unprofessional to his partners. He chose the logic of men over the logic of the architect. While at that conference, he met someone who seemed like a divine connection, a smooth-talking investor who promised to take his company to the moon. Because Thomas had skipped the warning, his discernment was offline. He was in a spiritual vacuum. He signed a contract that looked perfect on paper, but contained a poison pill that eventually stripped him of his intellectual property and left his family in financial ruin. Years later, Thomas told me. The worst part wasn't the loss of the money. It was the memory of that warning I ignored for 4 days. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. I chose the noise over the voice. The Creator is thundering today because He is trying to prevent your Houston. He is trying to stop you from signing the contract, entering the relationship, or making the move that looks like a promotion, but is actually a prison. Someone in the spiritual realm is fighting over you right now because they see the toxin that the enemy is trying to inject into your bloodline. They see the double agent who is smiling at your face while sharpening a knife for your back. The enemy's greatest weapon against a chosen one is your own busyness. If he can't make you bad, he will make you busy. If he can't make you hateful, he will make you hurried. Because a hurried person never hears the abort mission signal. A hurried person skips the message because they think they are the ones driving the car. But you are not the driver. You are the passenger in a vehicle designed by the king. When the designer says open the message, it is not a suggestion, it is an operating requirement. Why are you so afraid of what the message says? Are you afraid he will tell you to leave that city? Are you afraid he will tell you to stop that addiction that has become your crutch? Are you afraid that if you truly listen, you will have to become the powerful person you've been hiding from? The anger of the Creator is directed at the shadow version of you that is trying to kill the real version of you. He is angry at the fear that is holding you hostage. He is angry at the lies that have made you think you are average. He is trying to reach you for days because there is a master plan that is time-sensitive. In the United States, we understand the expiration date. Manna in the wilderness had an expiration date. The open door in your life has an expiration date. The grace period for your stubbornness is reaching its final seconds. You have been skipping the messages because you thought you were in a season of comfort. But you are actually in a season of war, and in war, missing a dispatch from headquarters is how soldiers lose their lives. Do you feel that pounding in your chest? That is not just anxiety. That is the divine knock. That is the someone who loves you more than life itself, trying to kick down the door of your distractions. He is saying, I have the keys to your future, but you are playing with the locks of your past. It is time to stop the skip. It is time to stop the scroll. In the next part, I am going to show you exactly how to decode the message you've been ignoring. I'm going to show you why your last 3 days were so chaotic, and I'm going to give you the 3 words that will restore your connection to the throne room instantly. The thundering is at its peak. The storm of grace is breaking over your head. The message is open. Are you finally ready to read it? Because the next revelation will explain why now was the only time this could happen. Part 4. The decoding and the chaos of the last 72 hours, 200 words. Why has the last 3 days felt like a total collapse of your peace? In the American telecommunications industry, when a signal is being jammed, the receiver experiences static, heat, and interference. That static you've been feeling, the sudden mood swings, the technology glitches, the feeling that everyone is suddenly getting on your last nerve was not just one of those weeks. It was the result of a divine jamming session. The Creator intentionally allowed the chaos to increase because the comfort of your normal life was making you spiritually deaf. He had to make your current state uncomfortable enough that you would finally stop and look up. He was trying to reach you for days, and because you kept skipping the message, he had to turn up the volume of the environment. Let's decode the chaos of your last 72 hours. Have you noticed a specific topic or problem that keeps surfacing no matter how much you try to avoid it? Maybe it's a recurring thought about a debt, a health issue, or a specific relationship that feels heavy. That is not a coincidence. That is the message subject line. The Creator is pointing his finger at that one area and saying, we cannot move to the next chapter until we address this paragraph. But you've been trying to skip to the end of the book. You want the prosperity without the purge. You want the influence without the instruction. The thundering you hear now is the sound of the architect refusing to build on a cracked foundation. Think about a woman named Maya from Denver, Colorado. Maya was a chosen one who had been skipping a specific divine message. For 3 days she was supposed to apologize to someone she had cancelled months ago. She felt the nudge on Monday. She skipped it. She felt the pull on Tuesday. She skipped it. By Wednesday, her entire life felt like it was under attack. Her internet went down, her bank card was declined at the grocery store for no reason, and she got into a fender bender in the parking lot. She was angry. She was screaming at the sky. Why is this happening to me? Then, sitting in her damaged car, she finally opened the message. She realized that the chaos wasn't an attack from the enemy. It was a roadblock from the king. He was stopping her momentum because her heart posture was misaligned. The moment she picked up her phone and sent that message of reconciliation, the static in her life disappeared. Her bank card worked. The insurance process for her car was miraculously easy. The someone who said you are the one was simply waiting for her to stop skipping the obedience protocol. This is why this message is not a joke. You are currently in a divine roadblock. The reason your plans aren't working, the reason you feel stuck, despite all your effort, is because you are trying to drive through a bridge-out sign. The Creator is angry at the pride that makes you think you can navigate this season without his map. He is saying, I have the shortcut, I have the bypass, but you keep looking at your own GPS. There are 3 words that will restore your connection to the throne room instantly. Speak, I'm listening. Most people pray by talking at God. They give him a to-do list. They complain about the weather of their lives. But the chosen one prays by listening to God. The God is angry tone of this video is a wake-up call to return to the posture of the servant. You are not the CEO of this mission, you are the agent. And an agent who doesn't check in with the Home Office is an agent who goes rogue. The enemy wants you to stay rogue. He wants you to keep skipping the messages until you are so far off course that you can't find your way back. He wants you to believe that the chaos is God's abandonment, when it is actually God's affection. He only disciplines those he loves. He only interrupts those he intends to use. Why would he waste his anger on someone who has no destiny? The thundering is the sound of his investment protection policy. He is guarding the gold that he placed inside you. In the United States, we protect our most valuable assets with the highest level of security. You are a high-value asset of the kingdom. The interference you've felt for the last 3 days is the security detail, making sure you don't wander into enemy territory. Someone is fighting over you right now because they know that if you open the message and actually apply the code, you will become dangerous. You will stop being a consumer of faith and start being a producer of miracles. The skip button is the enemy's favorite tool. It makes you feel like you're in control while you're actually falling behind. But the play button, the obey button, is where the power is. In the next part, I am going to show you the master plan for your 180-degree turn. I'm going to reveal the hidden prize that has been waiting on the other side of this 72-hour struggle. And I'm going to show you how to ensure that you never skip a divine message again. The God is angry phase is ending, and the God is moving phase is about to begin. But it all depends on what you do in the next 60 seconds. The static is clearing. The voice is becoming distinct. Are you ready to stop driving and start following? Because the shortcut is about to be revealed. The thundering has served its purpose. The vibration has shaken the scales from your eyes. Now, we move from the crisis to the correction. The Creator is not just reaching out to vent his frustration. He is reaching out to offer you a pivotal realignment. In the high-performance world of American racing, when a driver is off track, the crew chief doesn't just yell at them to get back on. They provide the exact coordinates and the degree of the turn required to regain the lead. This is your 180-degree turn blueprint. The reason you have been skipping the messages for 3 days is that you were afraid the turn would cost you too much. You thought the 180-degree turn meant losing your progress. But in the kingdom, a 180-degree turn toward the Creator is actually a quantum leap toward your future. You aren't going backward. You are finally facing the right direction. The someone who said you are the one is now handing you the master plan for your restoration. It begins with a concept called radical prioritization. For the next 72 hours, the Creator is asking you to put the urgent in the back seat and put the eternal in the driver's seat. He is asking you to clear your schedule for just 1 hour of absolute silence. No phone, no music, no spiritual podcasts. Just you and the architect. Why? Because the message you've been skipping is too complex for a text alert. It is a download that requires a stable connection. He wants to show you the hidden prize that the enemy has been trying to keep you from seeing. Let's talk about a man named Gabriel from Miami, Florida. Gabriel was a chosen one who had been ignoring a message to leave his high-paying, high-stress job to start a small community center for at-risk youth. He skipped the message for months, not just days. He thought anger from God meant he was being punished, so he worked even harder to prove his worth. But the more he worked, the more his life felt like a desert. His health began to fail. His joy vanished. Then came the final warning. A week of chaos where everything he touched fell apart. Gabriel finally stopped. He did the 180-degree turn. He resigned from his position and stepped into the unknown that the Creator had been pointing to. The hidden prize was not just the community center. The prize was that in that new environment, he met the person who would become his greatest business partner in a venture he hadn't even imagined yet. By obeying the small instruction, he unlocked a giant inheritance. The enemy knew that Gabriel's job was a golden cage, designed to keep him away from his billion-dollar destiny. The Creator was angry because he saw Gabriel settling for millions when he had prepared billions for the kingdom. Are you settling for a cage because you like the gold on the bars? The message you've been skipping is the key to the gate. Someone is fighting over you right now because they know that if you take this 180-degree turn, the spiritual gravity of your life will change. Instead of you chasing blessings, the blessings will start chasing you. Instead of you fighting for attention, the right doors will open of their own accord. But you have to stop skipping the manual. In the United States, we have a law of strict liability. As a chosen one, you are held to a higher standard of accountability because you carry more weight. You cannot skip what a commoner can skip. You cannot ignore what a bystander can ignore. The master plan for your turn involves 3 steps. Step 1. Acknowledge the static. Admit that your life has been chaotic because you've been out of sync. Stop blaming the economy, your boss, or your spouse. Take ownership of the skip. Step 2. The silence sacrifice. Give the Creator the time he has been demanding. If he's been reaching you for days, he has at least an hour's worth of data to give you. Step 3. The immediate execution. Whatever the message, Abustas, no matter how illogical or uncomfortable it feels, do it within 24 hours. Obedience is the only currency that buys peace in the spiritual realm. The God is angry phase was the siren, the master plan phase is the map, and the hidden prize is the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is about to flood your life. You've felt a hole in your spirit for the last 3 days. You've tried to fill it with food, with entertainment, with planning, but only the voice of the King fits in that space. The thundering is turning into a gentle rain. The interference is fading. The connection is being restored. But the someone who called you is waiting for your move. He has sent the dispatches. He has cleared the path. He has even confused your enemies to give you a window of escape. Will you take it, or will you go back to the scroll and wait for the next disaster? The hidden prize is closer than your next breath. It is hidden in the very instruction you've been trying to avoid. In the final part of this revelation, I am going to show you how to maintain this high-frequency connection so you never find yourself in a 72-hour crisis again. I'm going to reveal the legacy of the listener, and I'm going to give you the final call to action that will seal your victory. The King is smiling now. He sees you listening. He sees the turn beginning, and he is ready to show you things that no eye has seen and no ear has heard. The static is gone. The message is fully downloaded. Open it, read it, live it. The storm has passed, and the air is finally clear. You have moved from the holy fire of correction to the living water of revelation. The final phase of this journey is understanding your new identity as a listener. In the United States, we are taught to be doers, hustlers, and go-getters. But in the economy of the kingdom, the most powerful position you can hold is that of a high-frequency listener. The legacy of the listener is the ability to walk through a world of chaos and never be touched by the confusion. It is the ability to hear the abort mission signal before the disaster hits. and the open door signal before the world sees the opportunity. From this day forward, you are no longer the person who skips the message. You are the person who anticipates the call. Someone is fighting over you right now because they know that a chosen one who actually listens is an unstoppable force of nature. The enemy isn't afraid of your faith, if your faith is silent. He isn't afraid of your Bible, if it's just a decoration on your nightstand. He is terrified of this moment you say, "Speak, I'm listening," and then actually follow the instructions. That is the moment you become a disruptor of darkness. Let's look at the life of a woman named Juliana from Seattle. Juliana was a chosen one who had spent decades being a hustler. She was always stressed, always skipping messages because she thought she had to do everything herself. After her own 72-hour crisis, she made a vow to become a listener. She started giving the Creator the first 30 minutes of her day in total silence. One morning, she heard a very specific instruction: go to the park on 5th Street at 2 p.m. today. Bring an extra umbrella. It was a perfectly sunny day in Seattle, a rare thing. Juliana felt ridiculous carrying an umbrella under a clear blue sky. Her old logic told her to skip the message, but her new legacy told her to obey. At 2:05 p.m., a sudden, freak summer squall hit the park. Standing under a gazebo was a woman drenched to the bone, weeping. She was an executive at a major foundation who was about to give up on her mission because she felt unseen by the world. Juliana walked up, handed her the umbrella, and said, "The architect told me you needed this." That one act of listening didn't just save a woman's outfit, it saved a mission that would eventually feed thousands of families. The someone who called Juliana was looking at the hunger of those families 10 years into the future. He needed a listener in the present to secure the provision for the future. That is your new job description. You are a strategic asset in a global operation. The reason the Creator was angry that you were skipping messages is that you were holding up the progress of the entire team. Your obedience is the key that unlocks someone else's prison. Your yes is the green light for a miracle that has been waiting in the wings for months. I want you to understand the logic of the new frequency. Now that you have done the 180-degree turn, your spiritual ears are being recalibrated. You will start to notice things you never saw before. You will hear the truth behind the lies on the news. You will see the trap behind the opportunity that looks too good to be true. You will feel the peace in the middle of a storm that makes everyone else panic. This is not a superpower. This is the standard operating procedure for The enemy will try to tempt you to go back to the skip button. He will try to tell you that you are too busy again. He will try to fill your ears with the static of social media, politics, and gossip. But remember the 72-hour crisis. Remember the vibration in your spirit. Remember the God is angry alert that brought you to this moment. You don't ever have to go back to that place of static. The master plan is moving into the atmosphere of authority. You are no longer asking for permission to be who you are. You are simply existing in the frequency of the Creator. The thundering has turned into a symphony. The interference has turned into insights. And the someone who has been trying to reach you for days is now walking right beside you. The message is no longer a notification on your phone. It is a vibration in your soul. As we close this revelation, I want you to take a deep, cleansing breath. The static is 100% gone. The connection is 100% restored. The hidden prize is being released into your hands as you watch this. You are a listener. You are a chosen one. And from this day forward, you are the one who opens the message first. The king is no longer shouting. He is whispering, and his whisper is the most powerful force in the universe. Are you ready to live the life of the listener? Because the world is waiting for the instructions that only you can hear. The skip is over. The play has begun. Welcome to the new frequency. We have come to the end of a very intense and necessary journey. If you are still here, it is because you have successfully passed the stress test. You didn't skip the message this time. You didn't look away when the tone got sharp. You stood your ground. And because you did, your spiritual environment has already begun to change. The meaning of this Kichban is simple. God's anger is just his love in a state of emergency. He was reaching out for days because you were heading for a terrain impact that you couldn't see. The lesson of the last 72 hours is that your busyness is your greatest blindness. When you think you have no time to listen, that is exactly when you need to listen the most. The chosen one must be the master of the pause. You must be the one who can stop the world so you can hear the architect. The lesson is also about identity. You were skipping the messages because you didn't believe you were important enough to receive them. You thought the Creator was talking to someone else, to a holier person, or to a leader. But he was talking to you. He was talking to the Ethan, the Clara, and the Gabriel inside you. He was talking to the person who is destined to break the chains of a whole family tree. Now, as you move back into your daily life, I want you to carry this new frequency with you. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the notes of the kingdom. If you feel the static returning, stop. If you feel the irritation rising, listen. If you see the chaos building, open the message. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are a student of instructions. And a student who listens is a student who graduates to the next level of authority. The thundering was the alarm clock. You are finally awake. Now go out and live the dream that the architect has designed for you. The someone who loves you is already preparing your next download. And this time, I know you won't skip it. If you heard the divine interruption today and you are ready to commit to the new frequency, please comment 999 right now. Let us know that you have stopped skipping the messages and you are finally listening. If you are still feeling the static and need more help decoding the specific warning for your life, please comment 0. We are a community of listeners, and we are here to help you clear the interference. What was the message you were skipping for the last 3 days? Was it about a relationship? A job? Your health? Sharing your story in the comments helps others realize they aren't alone in the struggle. And if you want to ensure your spiritual connection stays strong and updated, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are releasing the battle plans every week, and you don't want to be the last one to get the memo. The king is on the line. The connection is clear. The mission is a go. Thank you for watching. Stay bold, stay listening, and never press skip again.